You've built your foundation, you've practiced social confidence. Now we're getting into the arena where confidence matters most for a lot of guys. Dating. This is where everything comes together, and it's also where nerves tend to spike the highest. The stakes feel higher because someone's opinion of you actually matters this time. But here's the thing. Dating with confidence isn't about having perfect lines or never feeling nervous. It's about bringing your genuine self to the table, staying grounded when the pressure rises, and treating the whole process as a two-way street instead of a test you have to pass. Approaching someone you're interested in reading the room and timing. A lot of guys overcomplicate the approach. They stress about the perfect opening line or wait so long for the right moment that the opportunity disappears. Here's a simpler way to think about it. Timing matters more than the line. Look at the context. Is she studying intensely with headphones in? Probably not the best moment. Is she scrolling on her phone while waiting for coffee? Looking relaxed and open? That's a better window. Is she laughing with friends and seems in a good mood? Also workable, though groups add a layer of complexity. The key is noticing whether someone seems open to interaction or closed off. Open signals include making eye contact, looking around the room, having open body language, or seeming like they're not deeply focused on something. Closed signals include headphones, intense focus on a screen, rushed or stressed energy, or body angled away from the room. You don't need to be a mind reader, you just need to pay attention. And if you're genuinely unsure, it's okay to make a gentle approach and let her response guide you. If she seems annoyed or gives short answers, take the hint gracefully and move on. That's not failure, that's social intelligence. Natural ways to start an interaction. Forget pickup lines. They almost always come across as rehearsed or cheesy. The best approach is usually situational, commenting on something happening around both of you. If you're in line together, mention something about the wait or the place. If you're at a campus event, ask about something related to what's happening. If you're in class, ask about an assignment or make an observation about the professor. These feel natural because they are natural. You're not pretending to be someone else. A simple, "Hey, I noticed your laptop sticker. Do you watch that show?" works better than any clever line because it's genuine. You're starting a real conversation about something real. The goal isn't to impress her immediately. The goal is to open a door and see if she wants to walk through it with you. If she engages, great. If she seems uninterested, you've lost nothing by trying. Managing approach anxiety that knot in your stomach before you approach someone? Normal. Every guy feels it, including the ones who seem totally smooth. The difference is that confident guys have learned to act despite the anxiety. Here's a mindset shift that helps. Stop thinking about it as a high-stakes moment. You're not asking her to marry you, you're just saying hello. The worst-case scenario is a few seconds of awkwardness, and you'll survive that. The best case is you meet someone interesting. Give yourself a 3-second rule. When you see an opportunity, count to 3 and move. Don't give your brain time to talk you out of it. The longer you wait, the more your anxiety builds and the weirder it feels. Planning and navigating first dates. Choosing the right date. Activity first dates work best when there's something to do besides stare at each other across a table. Dinner dates can feel like interviews. High pressure, lots of silence to fill, and nowhere to look when things get awkward. Choose activities that give you built-in conversation material. A walk through an interesting part of town. A casual coffee or ice cream spot where you can linger or leave easily. An activity like mini golf, a museum, or a farmer's market. These take pressure off because you can comment on what's around you instead of racking your brain for topics. Also consider logistics. Pick somewhere you know or have checked out. Being familiar with the location eliminates one layer of uncertainty. And choose something that fits your budget comfortably. You don't want to be stressed about the bill while trying to connect with someone. Conversation flow and connection building. Good conversation on a first date isn't about impressing her with stories of your achievements. It's about creating a back and forth where both of you feel heard and interested. Ask open-ended questions. Instead of, "Do you like your major?" try, what made you pick that major? Instead of, did you have a good weekend? Try, what was the highlight of your weekend? These invite real answers instead of one-word responses. But don't make it an interrogation. Share your own thoughts and stories too. The best conversations feel like a tennis match. She shares something, you relate and share back. She builds on that. It's a rhythm you develop, not a script. Listen more than you plan. A lot of guys are so busy thinking about what to say next that they don't actually hear what she's saying. Stay present. React to what she actually shared. Ask follow-up questions. That kind of attention is rare and attractive. Being present instead of performing, this is where confidence really shows up. A lot of guys go into date mode and suddenly become a version of themselves they think she wants. They exaggerate, perform, or try too hard to be funny or impressive. But here's the thing. Performing is exhausting, and it's obvious. She can sense when you're not being genuine. And even if she likes the performance, she's liking someone who doesn't actually exist. That's not sustainable. Instead, focus on being present. Notice the environment, notice how you're feeling, notice her. When you're truly present, you naturally come across as more confident because you're not caught up in your head. You're just there, real, available. That's infinitely more attractive than a polished performance. Authentic communication and dating texting without overthinking texting trips up so many guys. You stare at your phone, rewrite a message 5 times, analyze her response time, and spiral if she doesn't text back immediately. Here's a principle that will save you a lot of stress. Text like you talk. Would you overthink this sentence in person? Probably not. So don't overthink it in a text. Be reasonably responsive, but don't sit by your phone waiting. Have a life outside of the conversation. If she takes a few hours to respond, that doesn't mean anything. People get busy. If you're always available instantly, it can actually come across as having nothing going on. Keep text simple and clear. Ask questions to keep conversation moving, but don't carry the entire burden. If you've sent the last 3 messages without a question from her, let it breathe. See if she initiates. Dating works best when both people are putting in effort, expressing interest without desperation. There's a sweet spot between playing it so cool you seem uninterested and being so eager you come across as desperate. Expressing interest is healthy. Telling a girl you had a great time, that you'd like to see her again, that you find her interesting. These are good things. They show confidence because you're being direct about what you want. Desperation shows up when you need a specific outcome to feel okay about yourself. When you're crushed by a slow text response. When you agree with everything she says because you're afraid of disagreement. When you double or triple text without a response. Confident interest sounds like, I'd love to see you again. Let me know if you're free this weekend. Desperation sounds like, are you free? How about this day or this day? I'm flexible, whatever works for you. One is an invitation. The other feels like pressure. Know the difference. Building attraction, naturally the role of humor and playfulness. Humor is one of the most attractive qualities you can bring to dating, but it needs to be the right kind. Making fun of others or putting people down isn't funny. It just shows insecurity. Self-deprecating humor in small doses can work, but too much makes you seem like you don't value yourself. The best humor comes from being playful and present, teasing gently about something small, finding the absurdity in a situation together, laughing at yourself when something goes wrong instead of getting defensive. Playfulness signals that you don't take yourself too seriously. It creates a relaxed vibe where both people can be themselves, and it makes you way more fun to be around than the guy who's trying to prove how cool he is. Creating tension and chemistry isn't something you can force, but you can create conditions where it's more likely to develop. It comes from a combination of comfort and tension, feeling safe with someone while also feeling a spark of excitement. Eye contact matters here. Not creepy staring, but actually looking at her when she talks. Holding eye contact a beat longer than purely platonic. Physical proximity matters too. Sitting closer than necessary, Light touch on the arm if the moment feels right. But read her signals. If she leans in, that's a good sign. If she leans away or seems stiff, back off. Chemistry requires both people to be engaged. You can't create it alone. Moving things forward, respectfully, reading signs of mutual interest. As things progress, pay attention to how she's responding. Is she initiating contact? Asking you questions? Making time to see you? These are positive signs. Is she slow to respond? Vague about making plans? Or always busy? Those suggest she might not be as interested. Don't play detective looking for hidden meanings, but do notice patterns. One slow text means nothing. A week of short responses and no initiative tells you something. Consent and communication about boundaries. This should go without saying, but it needs to be said clearly. Consent is non-negotiable. Every step of physical intimacy requires mutual interest and agreement. This isn't just about being a good person, though it is that. It's also about creating the kind of trust and safety where real connection can happen. Ask before escalating. Can I kiss you? Isn't unsexy. It's respectful and confident. Read her body language. If she seems hesitant or uncomfortable, stop. No explanation needed. Communicate openly about what you both want. If you're looking for something casual, say so. If you're interested in a relationship, be honest about that. Games and miscommunication waste everyone's time. Timing and pacing in new relationships don't rush. There's no prize for moving fastest. Getting to know someone takes time, and that time is valuable. You're both figuring out if this is a match. Rushing skips important steps. At the same time, don't play games by waiting arbitrary amounts of time to text or pretending to be less interested than you are. Be genuine about your interest while respecting that building something real happens at its own pace. Dating with confidence comes down to this. Know who you are, be genuine about what you want, respect her as a whole person with her own wants and boundaries, and stay grounded in your own worth regardless of the outcome. When you approach dating this way, rejection stops being devastating. It's just information. And connection becomes possible because you're actually showing up as yourself. That's the foundation everything else is built on.